So you knew like from like elementary school already that you wanted to be a doctor.
Kinda, sorta, yeah, I guess you could say that. Because, at around that time in that early phase, my it was like when my grandmother died from diabetes, that was a big inkling for me, like, why did she die? And, is what do doctors do and how do they save people and how could I save somebody? So there was that, and then that in combination with my father always saying that, being a doctor is how you achieve success in America. So, and to seeing what was going on with my brother, I was like, it all kind of led me in that pathway, man. And I just became a passion.
Yeah, one of my favorite songs of yours is "Life is like a cigarette smoke, too short. You never
Okay,
know
damn,
when you're
yeah,
gonna
first
go."
album.
You know,
That's right.
because the way you talk about feeling conflicted growing up of what your dad went through to come here and your brother wanted to be a boxer, you wanted to be a
Yeah.
rapper, like it was just like very brutally honest about like when you have the parents that are immigrants, they're coming to this country and they sacrifice everything and they're coming from conditions that like most Americans cannot even imagine, like third world countries, and just like being in a place of lack. They want you as their kids to like choose these illustrious careers that are like in medicine or in law or something like a
Mhm.
to be able to provide and be successful in a different kind of way. And I feel like that song really encompasses how like a child would feel being conflicted of doing your passion versus like, you know what I'm saying? Like what is the quote
It's so
unquote
crazy. I
realistic
haven't
thing?
heard that song. I haven't heard that song in so long, but it's now that I think about it, it's like that was the time period in my life. You know how like music captures that period of time? Like
Right.
that was the time period in my life where I didn't know if I was gonna be a doctor or a rapper.
Yeah, exactly.
So now to reflect back on it now is just insane because I remember how I felt. At that time, I'm like, can I be a doctor and a rapper? And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do both. But that's fantasy thinking. But this is where I'm at today. You know?
Mhm. And growing up as a minority, especially during your time, there was a lack of representation in mainstream American media.
Absolutely.
What was that
Yeah,
like
now
for
you
you?
see you see South Asians popping up all over different areas, but at that time it was non-existent.
Right.
So that was it was even like my father and stuff, he'd be like, there's no single link. Cause then when he got wind of me doing rap and hip hop and stuff, he's like, there's no example of anybody like that in any entertainment field. So you're literally like, it's impossible. So that was a big thing because it was just like, how do you fight? How do you fight that? Like, how do you tell somebody that I'm gonna be the first to do something or I'm gonna do it, when nobody else in the world could do it, but I'm gonna do it. So that was kind of a big obstacle that was always in front of me, but it was also a driving force to me because it was like, nah, man, I'm too passionate. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get there.
So how did your dad feel about you doing that as your passion? Like, did he like
Not
tell you?
he didn't he was originally he was very against it because if he thought that would get in the way of me doing the medicine and things like that, he'd be like, "Nah, you're gonna throw your life away. You're gonna you're gonna be like your brother, and you're not gonna be able to do this and that." And he said all that, and he was really he did not support it, and then well once I showed up when I was a doctor and all that talk went away.
And your mom always supported you no matter what you
Yeah, she
wanted.
always wanted me to do whatever I wanted to do. Yeah, I love my
So
mom.
that was a great balance for you to have like the two different sides, I guess, instead of it
Yeah,
being
but at the same time, I love my dad too because it had it not been for him pushing me the way he did, then I wouldn't have ended up where I'm at right now too. And I'm so grateful to have my medicine, not only because my passion for medicine, but because it gives me an independent standing where, later down the road when I'm talking to record companies, I don't have to be a slave to them because I could do things on my own, and do it my way
right, for sure.
because I have the ability to have that backing now.
Now, I know during the time that you were hearing him say it, you might have felt different, but
Yeah.
looking back in retrospect.
Looking back, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. It's one of those, man. So it's a part of growing up, man. It's part of life. Certain things you don't understand at certain times, but then later you do.
Mhm. Now, 9/11 was a very bad day for me, the brown lyricist, because everywhere I went, they called
Everywhere I
me a
went, they called
terrorist.
me a terrorist. That one, I would say that song really, 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 really jumped me up in when I was at Wayne State when I dropped that because that was right after 9/11. And the tensions was so crazy, like, you don't understand, like, all the South Asians and all the Muslims, you know, that were in the area, they were getting they were getting hounded, bro. Like mosques was throwing, the glasses were being broken, people breaking in, doing all types of stuff, vandalism, people spray painting like even my pops's car, like you know, all types of stuff. And it was very bad, bro. The sentiment was very bad. And when I released that to my campus, the audience that I had on Wayne State campus, and there was a lot of minorities there, it was like medicine to them. They were like, "Oh my God, like this makes us feel like, oh, you know, we actually have, you know, that feeling you get where like that relief, like, man, I'm constantly getting bullied for this and this and that. And this guy's speaking about our pain now.
They
You know what I'm
felt
saying? He's
seen.
speaking about our struggle. Yeah, our struggle. And then whenever, like when I 9/11 was a very bad day for me, the brown lyricists, because everywhere I went, they called me a terrorist. And then when that came out on the Watcher beat, everybody was bumping that shit on campus, bro. Everybody.
And that's, you know, it's a really sad thing because during that time, like once 9/11 happened, people told you like, "Oh, there goes your rap career. Now you're never going to be
Mhm.
accepted in hip hop."
Right. Yeah. I got told you can't do this, you can't do that so many times in my life, bro. If I had a tally of that, it would probably be like to the moon and back. For real. Like people, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't do that. It's just crazy, man.
I saw this video of you. I think it was from probably the 2003 documentary, right? The Lazarus DVD one. And you got the white bandana on. It's very Tupac of you. But you were
Yeah.
saying like ever since 9/11, people associated being Muslim with being a terrorist or a villain, or you're like the bad guy of society. And Islam is really a religion of peace. You know what I mean? You said
Right,
people would
right.
walk up to you and say, "Look at what your people did," or they would treat you like you're not as good as everyone else, or told you like, "What are you doing in our country?" But you're like, "I'm born
Mhm.
here, like I'm American," you know?
Right.
It's it's very sad because I feel like so many times in our country there are situations that happen and then it's like everyone needs someone to blame,
Right.
you know? So I'll you know, even like you on that that first album, you had that song with the bad guy, right? And you
Mhm.
talk a little bit about that. So, what was it like for you internalizing all of that hatred that was coming your way?
It was, you know, it showed me that hip hop was the therapy for me. And it was like when, you know, like when I listened to Wu Tang and when I listened to NWA, like how it made me feel growing up and it just kind of uplifted me. Now it was me recording and telling my story that uplifted me. That was what made me feel like whatever struggle I'm going through, whatever pain I'm going through, when I expressed it on the mic and put it out there, it was just kind of like I took that pain and whatever thing I was dealing with, and I was able to just manifest a cure for it.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? That's how I felt, bro. And I feel like when the people heard it, like that, I'm America's number one bad guy. That's, you know, that's me. And I put that out. Like anybody who felt like that, it was like, man, I just listened to this and now I feel good about myself.
do you feel like in America that other minority issues are not discussed as much or they're like more dismissed by the masses?
I think every minority probably has their issues, you know, has their struggles. Everyone's got their struggles, man. But you know, as I grow older, man, you know, I used to be a time where I used to say, man, what a bad upbringing or what a bad thing that happened to me in this time and that time. But there's no bad thing, bro. Everything is good.
Mm,
Everything makes you a part. Everything is responsible for making you who you are. If I didn't have those things, then I wouldn't be out here rapping and on the mic and expressing myself. I would have been probably something else, some low key just loser. You know what I'm saying? Just
right.
sitting around. You know what I mean? Like for the fact that I had these moments happen in my life, the fact that I had these hard situations that I had to deal with, made it interesting for me to express myself and become and mature as an MC and as a rapper. And I feel like it just defined who I became. And now I feel like there's a definition to everything that happened to me in my life and why it happened. And it was all to eventually turn me into Lazarus, who
Right.
I am.